Well, welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. And last year in 2020, we found out that a lot of elections happened around the country and everybody got kind of confused. But you learned one thing, that most states are responsible for their own elections. Very happily, in the state of Alabama, the election happened November 3rd. By November 4th, for all intents and purposes, we were done. It's because of good legislation and a good Secretary of State. I have with me today Speaker of the House, Mac McCutcheon. Welcome back to 2021.
All right, well, it's good. I'm glad we can see 2020.
But that's the truth.
I'm glad 2020 is in the rearview mirror.
Well, that's we can say an amen to that one for sure.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit off camera. We were just talking about the fact that so many different things happened in the country. Ultimately, most legislators or legislative bodies in a state, they can determine how voting happens in that state. Is that where it starts?
That's right. State legislatures make the decision on their voting laws and the way the elections are carried out, and so that's across the country.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, because I would say this myself, if you want to vote for dog catcher and you want to do a mail-in ballot in your county, I could care less. But when it comes to the high offices that can really affect everybody, I almost think there needs to be a norm across the whole country.
I agree with that. Of course, one of the reasons that the state legislatures have oversight over the election process is because every state is a little bit different.
Yes.
Geographical access to voting places, and populations and everything. And over the years, the states have amended and changed their voting laws to accommodate what's going on within their state. To have just a uniform voting set of rules and regulations and laws in some ways would be difficult, but yet there are certain things within our election process that could be standardized. Yeah, there really is. And one of the issues, which was a big issue in this past election, was the absentee voting.
Yes.
And voting by
mail-in ballots
and mail-in ballots. And so because of that, it has brought a lot of state legislatures back to the table to review their laws.
That's what we've been hearing now. Thank goodness for that.
And rightfully so.
Yes.
Rightfully so. As you know, Alabama over the years has always been pretty conservative and protective of our voting rights, such as voter ID.
Yes.
And honestly, I think that's a good thing to have, especially in light of the fact that we have a lot of illegal people in the country.
Yes.
And our Constitution stands on the citizenship, having the right to vote. So Alabama made a pretty strong stand when they went with the voter ID, and it's been upheld through the higher courts.
And the nice thing about our voter ID here, there's not a person in the state of Alabama that can't get that voter ID.
Absolutely. When you look back, if someone has criticism of that law, look back at the Secretary of State and the way they have reached out to every place in this state.
Yes.
They have been to every area, every county in this state, providing people with some type of ID where they can vote.
They'd even come to your house.
Yes.
If need be, to take that picture and get them the ID.
Very good initiative.
Yes.
I work with a lot of speakers across the country, and I was so proud of our voting system and the way that the 2020 elections went for Alabama. And I want to give credit to our Secretary of State and his staff and the work that they've done.
Which makes a lot of sense.
You've
just got to do it the right way. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, and to me, the bottom line is we need to protect the integrity of our election system.
Absolutely.
We have to.
And you used a key word in one of our other interviews about transparency. That's the key to everything.
It is.
People need to see that it's being done, but it's being done the right way.
Yeah.
I
think as we look into this 2021 session, we're going to see some bills that some of them have already been pre-filed, that's going to deal with some of our voting laws and our election process. And I think it'll be a good debate, and I think there'll be some great information. I hope the people will be attuned to the debate on these, because out of these debates will come a good discussion, and there'll be a lot of opportunity for you to learn a lot of things going through it. And some of those would be like absentee voting and absentee ballots, and those are things that we need to address.
Are there some key issues in this session for 2021?
Yes, we've got three priority bills.
Yes.
Between the House and Senate that we've agreed on with the governor's office. One of those is going to be the taxpayers in the state received $600 through the CARES Act.
Right.
Right now, that money could be taxed by state dollars. We're going to take that state tax away from that money.
Okay.
Because people have really struggled.
Absolutely.
And in some homes, that $600 meant everything to them to help buy food and just pay rent or pay for the utility bill. So we don't want to tax that money. And so we're going to take that tax off of that.
Well, as we move through the session, I'm going to get back with you maybe in about another month or so after things really get up and rolling, and we can take another peek under the tent and see how that 2 weeks went and how you moved forward, because I'm real interested in how that's going to go.
Yeah, maybe that third week of a break, we'll after we do our assessment, we can get back together, and then we can inform the public of where we're going.
Great. And I want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to thank you always for your accessibility.
Oh, listen, I appreciate it.
You're one that's here for the people.
Well, and I feel like you're for the people too. So
absolutely. Well, that's exactly right.
I'm always glad to help.
Okay, great. And just remember this, they're in session, but your representative will come home sometime. Let them know if you hear about a bill, what you really think, because they need to know what the people are thinking in this state. And we'll be right back right after this.